And welcome back to the Sideline Chat podcast, where now it is your Betfred Super League Week 14 debrief. Just ran out of time last week, so we didn't get Week 13 up. But now, it is the Betfred Challenge Cup Final between the Huddersfield Giants and the Wigan Warriors. Huddersfield back in the Cup for the first time since 2009.
Yeah, it's been a long time between drinks for Huddersfield Giants, but this game should be an absolute cracking of a match.
Given the fact that Huddersfield have started this season on fire under Ian Watson, it is no surprise how well they are actually performing at the moment. Recent form for these two sides, a bit of a different story. Huddersfield getting away from Toulouse Olympique 17 points to 16, whereas Wigan went down 22-31 to Hull FC.
Yeah, so the Wigan Hull FC match was a surprising one, to be quite honest with you, although Hull FC have been playing, getting better as the season progresses through, but it still was a surprise result. As for Huddersfield, well, Toulouse, didn't they get out to a belter of a start?
They raced out to a massive 16-6 lead. And for Toulouse, that's big. If they can jump out to a 16-6 lead, they could have gone on to win that. With Corey Norman playing his first game for Toulouse, how would you have rated his performance?
Obviously, he has to settle into a little bit more, but I'd say he was a bit quiet, but he's, like I said, has to get used to this pace of the Super League and all the... It's like I said, it's kind of different it's the same sporting code, but played at different rates in that. So you have to have a little bit of time to settle in.
What about Adam Cuthbertson's try? How many was about 30 meters out? He just started running onto it and then he just charged through the Giants' line.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was crazy. That was absolutely crazy watching Adam Cuthbertson score like that.
Yeah, it certainly was. It was nuts. Like, how often do you see a front rower?
Yeah, front
do
rower.
that often. I mean, it's become more of a regular occurrence now than what it used to be, but seriously.
Never happens like that. It absolutely doesn't.
No, it certainly wasn't.
And the fact that Huddersfield, they were 16-6 down, yet somehow just managed to pull it out of the fire.
They certainly did. I've got written in my notes here that Huddersfield definitely had to work for that win, which was quite true.
Innes Senior was the sole reason that Huddersfield could get out of that. 2 tries, 66 run meters, 2 tackle breaks, and then Jack Cogger stepping up to ice the game with a drop goal.
Yeah, good on Cogger for doing that. He's starting to know the game a bit better now after having a rough period in NRL. He's starting to find his feet over there in Huddersfield.
Now, switching tact a bit, going over to the MKM Stadium. What the hell were Hull doing? I mean, obviously they won, but holy shit. The first time we probably saw Gale, Connor, Reynolds, and Houghton playing well together.
Yeah. And even, yet again, drop goal to just ice the cake, even though there was really no need for... Well, I was going to say not really needed for the win, but it could have nearly went against him.
Almost it did. It as well, but the Wigan edges, I got to say, on both sides, they were just pegged apart. They were torn apart by Jake Connor's passing game. And mainly, I would say.
Yeah, he had a brilliant game, like you said. Those key players earlier, he's like, that's kind of one of the first times they've all played really well together. To an extent, though, it was a bit of a seesaw affair because you got Hull that raced out, had like a few tries to get 18 points. And then Wigan come back and pretty much locked it up. And then Hull FC scored again, Wigan scored again. And throw a field goal and a drop goal in the middle. And then Hull with that final try to seal it off.
But Jake Connor, bloody hell. Again, with the seesawing, should he not be picked for England? 70 run meters, 5 try assists he had in that. 1 tackle break and a single offload to his name.
5 try assists. That is absolutely massive.
Absolutely, it is massive. And getting it back onto this important clash down at Tottenham, the second time these two sides met after Huddersfield down Wigan 32-22 back in round 12.
Yeah, they did, which was what we thought was going to be a preview for this Challenge Cup final match, and it was, but wasn't. Like, I didn't expect Huddersfield to get away with it, although the performance they did put in the Challenge Cup semi-final, you could see why. So that's 2 consecutive weeks Wigan have lost, plus got 22 points on top of that. So 44 points in 2 weeks.
Not ideal form for the Wigan Warriors heading into this cup final, but there was a lot of players that weren't available in that round 12 fixture heading into the round 13. And of course, injuries play a huge part of that as well, considering there's still no word on whether Tommy Lualai is coming back. Huddersfield, in the meanwhile, Theophage could be back for it, and Will Price could be selected.
Wouldn't it be nice to have Will Price back in?
After a massive 10-week suspension he copped.
That was crazy. Absolutely crazy.
But the question is, would you play him?
Probably not. Yes, he is a player that can spark the attack from nothing. But after being out of the game for 10 weeks and being a very crucial match, I wouldn't play him. I would keep the side as much as possible from beating Wigan a couple of weeks ago and also beating Toulouse by a point last week.
So that's sort of the way you'd see it. He doesn't get selected?
Not for this crucial match.
But
maybe
Wigan should anticipate his selection.
They should just be more prepared. But the match after the Challenge Cup, then I'll bring Will Price back in.
All right. So, final prediction. What are we going to see at Tottenham come midnight Sunday morning?
Well, this is, based on what we're seeing, Huddersfield are the team that will, I'm guessing, head into this game as favourites over Wigan. I thought to start off with, Wigan would do it easy. But with 44 points in 2 weeks in the league fixtures and Huddersfield coming away with the 2 wins, I'm actually going to say the Huddersfield Giants in the 1-6 bracket.
You know what? I can buy that. I think Huddersfield can win the Challenge Cup final against the Warriors. No doubt, Wigan's a very strong pack with some dynamic forwards, Smithies, Bateman, and Patrick Mago, a bench weapon. But the organisation of the halves and Tuilala here out at the back, I just think he puts Jai Field to shame. And amongst one of the best candidates for the Man of Steel at the end of the year. So yeah, I probably see Huddersfield getting up 1-6, and I think Theophage will be there. Will he be the Lance Todd? Probably not, but would be nice.
I'll have to say that Jai Field did have a couple quiet weeks there, especially against Wigan and also against Hull FC.
Yeah, that's definitely...
His try-scoring streak kind of stopped all of a sudden. I'm sure he'll find his feet again.
He'll find that momentum later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right, you heard it here first. West Yorkshire to get up for the cup final. Huddersfield, we predict, will take it. Now, moving on to the rest of the league fixtures, Warrington Wolves, what a bad 2 weeks they've had. First, a 40-8 drubbing at the hands of the Catalan Dragons, backed up by a narrow loss to the champion St Helens, and 12-10.
Yeah, not good for Warrington at all, though. Only improving 2 points between the game of Catalans and St Helens. So 18 points in 2 weeks.
There were some genuinely embarrassing moments for the Warrington Wolves. Of course, having 6 tries put on them by the Catalan Dragons. Of course, Fuad Yaha becoming the club's greatest ever try scorer in its 16-year history, unseating Vincent Dupont as the club's top try scorer. And then the embarrassing way off the scrum where Alex Wormsley scores the first try for St Helens.
I was going to say, that was... And St Helens didn't even have that bloody ball possession. Warrington had the scrum feed, and they still managed to stuff it up. Seriously.
Inventing ways to fail. Inventing ways to lose.
But I have to say, Willip had a brilliant game. He scored a try and set up George Williams himself.
I got to say, that Williams to wrench kick, when the desperation was on, you would have thought Warrington were in the clear before that Saints cover defence came across.
Yeah, you would have thought so, but it didn't happen.
No, it didn't. And once again, Alex Wormsley, he is the bread and butter of St Helens. 1 try, 155 running metres, 5 tackle breaks, and an offload to his name. And of course, the Saints bounced back in the form after going out in the semi-final, beating Hull 24 points to 10. I should have really seen that one coming. That Saints had just bounced back straight away, even after getting knocked out of the semi-finals by the Wigan Warriors.
Yeah, look, they did do that, and that's what you expect from the Saints. If they have a loss, they tend to bounce back. So, but like you said, you wouldn't say it was a comfortable. It was a comfortable victory against Hull FC, only on 10 points and St Helens in 24, but it could have been a lot worse.
Oh, it definitely could have been a lot worse for the Black and White. It's especially coming off that break they had for the Cup Finals.
Yeah.
As it would turn out, they bounced back okay against the Wigan Warriors, so nothing much lost there.
So since
for Brett Hodgson's side, and they got a lot of players back.
Yep. Only onwards and upwards for Hull FC.
Speaking of teams on the up and up, Salford, a couple of good weeks for them. First, downing the Leeds Rhinos 32 points to 8, then backing it up
23-8. Oh, sorry, Leeds Rhinos.
Yeah.
Wasn't it 23-8? No, hang on. What have I done? I've stuffed up.
Fact check. Can we get the fact checking unit in here?
No. So what'd you say? Salford beating Leeds 23.
32.
I don't know why I wrote 23.
Oh no! Oh no, you were right. It was 23-8.
I thought it was 23-8, and then they beat Castleford 30
points to 14.
Last week, so yeah, 2 in a row for Salford. I am one happy camper, and doing this podcast, I'm kitted out in Salford gear.
Not that you can tell.
No, but I am.
Unless it's the imminent arrival of a moron in red, then yeah, I know what I'll be getting for Christmas.
Very good reason to celebrate for 2 in a row.
Look, Salford had gotten the jinx over Castleford back in round 1, where I thought the results would have played out a lot differently. Then the Tigers, they just couldn't handle Salford for that middle portion of the game.
No, they could not at all. And Salford, I'm going to I had to say, took control of that match and tore the Tigers to shreds.
Well, Mark Sneed's perfect pinpoint kick for Tim Laffey to get the first try.
Yeah.
That was just perfect weight right there.
And good old Joe Burgess getting a hat-trick.
3 tries, 141 running metres and 6 tackle breaks. He was my stand-up for Salford, but there were just too many errors from the Castleford Tigers. They just got a little bit too offload happy. That's how they conceded some of those tries. They got offload happy, and Salford made them pay.
Yeah, they certainly did. And like with Burgess getting a 3, and like you said, Sneed being pinpoint accurate with Laffey, it just shows that whatever Castleford did, and error-wise, Salford made pay for it.
The Tigers paid for it, and where do they go from here at Castleford? I mean, 1 week before, they had left Hull KR with a donut next to their name. Then it's turned around, it's 5 tries to 2 against them, and after Salford just bullied them through the middle.
Yeah, so Sutton obviously didn't go right between Sutton. I don't know what went wrong against the match with Hull KR and then this match against Salford for Castleford. I don't know what happened there.
Nor do I.
That's a bit of a head scratcher there for Lee Radford.
But for Paul Rowley, I think it's another pressure valve released that Salford can now climb away from the relegation zone.
Well, like I said, Salford started off well, then they went downhill. They might have jagged a win here and there, but this is the first back-to-back win since rounds 1 and 2. So, yeah, who knows what's going to happen.
Well, what has happened for Rowan Smith of the Leeds Rhinos was after a 23-8 loss to Salford, they bounced back in fine form. Zach Hardacre at the back as the Leeds Rhinos down Wakefield Trinity 24-6.
Okay, so I thought this match was going to be a lot closer than what it was, because Leeds haven't been playing as strongly all season. Like that, compared to what they are started, the horrible run of started here, they are starting to slowly make their way back. Yes, they did lose to Salford 23-8, but with the new coach, he's 1-1 under Rowan Smith.
Yeah, That sounds
So it's
about
not
right.
a bad record. Well, it's only 2 games in, but 1-1 ain't bad. It could have easily been 2-0. Or 0-2, sorry.
Rowan Smith had the benefit of getting a whole host of players back. Richie Myler playing scrum half, David Fuzatua out on the flank, Blake Austin was back in the line. And so he had the benefit of a lot of players coming back into the side that he could work with. Because that's sort of been the problem with the Leeds Rhinos. They've had a long casualty list, but they're starting to get some of their higher end players back in the side. And I think Myler at scrum half was a huge benefit for Austin.
Yeah, it certainly was. And it showed against Wakefield that having those players coming back from injury, it makes a difference. In the space of a week, they've gone from scoring 8 to 24. That's a huge improvement.
Dominating Wakefield right there. And James Bentley, this will sound a lot of frustration for Leeds fans. He scored 2 tries, ran for 80 metres, 4 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, but he also got sent to the bin for 10 minutes and is now going to spend the next 3 weeks on the sideline.
Yeah, that's just frustration there.
He has spent more time on the sideline in the 13 weeks the Betfred Super League has been running, almost 3 months, 3 to 4 months when you think about it, and he's been suspended several times, for the majority of that, really.
Yeah, so he needs to work on his discipline fast, because I think he had, a very lengthy suspension to start the year, wasn't it?
He's
8
had
weeks
several lengthy suspensions.
Wasn't his first one 7 or 8 weeks?
Actually, he got sent off. He got red carded in his first game for the Warrington Wolves, or was it his second game? And that he got red carded.
I don't know, but I know he had a very, like a 7 or 8 week suspension thrown in there somewhere.
But he has spent a whole host of time on the sideline. It is unbelievable the amount of time he spent out there on the sideline.
Yeah. I have to say, though, back onto the Leeds Wakefield match, what has happened to Wakefield over the past month?
They've slid backwards. I thought
Like
that much was apparent.
Well, I thought after the 2 back-to-back wins of Warrington, I thought, oh, here we go. Wakefield could be on improvement. And then since then, they've gone downhill. Like, they lost to the Leeds Rhinos 24-6, and they also lost to Toulouse 20 points to 14.
And that game was pretty much in the balance.
The Toulouse-Wakefield match.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly was, but Wakefield just didn't finish it off. I think Wakefield were the team that was in charge of the match. Well, I've got written down there, they were the early, dominance. Early dominance.
Full confidence, though.
Wakefield were showing dominance early in the match against Toulouse, and then Toulouse just clicked into gear and overran them.
I would say that, yeah. But getting back to James Bentley, he needs someone to mentor him. Now, you've got all these great legends at the Leeds Rhinos club. Why not get a Barry McDermott or a Jamie Peacock who could probably mentor him and temper his aggression?
Well, so that needs to happen. Because that's ridiculous that one player spent more time on the sideline suspended than what he actually has played this year.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
He might as well, if he gets another suspended, he'll probably know, I'm just going to stay out for 3 weeks, that's what's going to be happening. So,
if I was the Leeds Rhinos, I'd be probably trying to think of plans to either to cut him loose or to really just fix his problem, because he's a bloody good back row. Remember, he came through at St Helens and the Irish international.
Or is it because of the frustration that the team's not? He's coming from a dominant side to a side that hasn't been not as dominant as what St Helens have been, and he's just got a little bit of frustration of not playing the way that he usually would.
I don't know what
at St Helens.
I don't know what it is. I'm not on the inside, of course, in the Headingley sanctum, so I can't really comment on what we're looking at here. But it needs to happen. An intervention needs to happen for him.
Otherwise, he could seriously injure someone, or get another very lengthy suspension.
And that's the last thing he could afford.
Yep.
Now, there is no Betfred Championship spotlight. It's just a generalisation over a couple of things. London, from bad to worse. Now Jermaine Coleman's walked away.
Really?
Yep, confirmed by David Hughes that Jermaine Coleman will no longer be coaching the London Broncos as they are currently languishing in 13th on the championship ladder.
Wow.
Yeah, how the mighty have fallen for the Jamaica coach to lose his place in the Betfred Championship. Now homeless, apart from his international commitments, but I suppose it gives him a bit more time to focus on that now.
Hopefully he does better with them or whatever.
As for Sheffield, they finally moved home to their new ground that they have, and of course opened it in only convincing fashion at the new Olympic Legacy Park, downing the Widnes Vikings 34 points to 24. What a good way to finally move back into your home base,
yes. Is that in the championship, wasn't it?
Yep, Sheffield are in the championship.
Yep. I was going to say, what happened to our good old other club that gets absolutely bombarded week in, week out?
Oh, West Wales, a channel favourite for bashing the shit out of.
I think that's in League One.
League One. Well, let's actually take a look at the League One.
We haven't touched on Catalans or Toulouse as of yet much either, so...
We'll come back to that.
Yes.
Of course, West Wales, last time out, they actually got a win against Cornwall, downing them 20-0, before Hunslet downed them 50 points to 12.
Well, this actually got a win on the board. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Sarcasm 101 right there. As for the Catalan Dragons, we already touched on their big result, downing the Warrington Wolves, and then backed it up, downing Hull KR in a very competitive game, 20 points to 18.
And they even had Lachlan Coote back for this match. Hull KR, and they still couldn't win, which I thought that would have made a difference.
Well, apparently the Dragons thought otherwise. Some brilliant news for Catalan, despite losing Gil Dudson and Sam Cassiano to the Warrington Wolves as of next year. They have locked in gun centre Mathieu Laguerre for another 2 years.
Good. They need to keep him. He's a good young player and he'll do wonders for Catalans. Although losing Gil Dudson and Sam Cassiano, that's massive losses in the engine room.
But the good news is they are going to get Siwa Tauki Aho coming in, and the speculation, Wade Graham could end up in the south of France. Whether it is with Catalan or Toulouse, that remains to be seen. But I think it would take an edge forward from Catalan to go, for Wade Graham to go. Or if somehow Toulouse make it, then they're always in need of better players. But really the centres for the Catalan Dragons, they were running the show right here. Mathieu Laguerre on one side and Tyrone May on the other. As much as everyone's got a divided opinion on Tyrone May these days.
One in particular person he knew. Yeah. I guess this, like, Hull KR Catalan's match, Hull KR, despite getting opened in 2 tries, still nowhere.
They only scored 1. The only punch they ever threw.
20 points to 8.
Yeah, look, Ben Crook's the only try scorer. Lachlan Coote kicked 2 goals.
Oh, sorry, my apologies there. Well, despite getting the opening 8 points of the match, they were poor. They were nowhere. Error riddled, you could say there, and Catalans capitalised.
Yes, Catalan did capitalise on that and ran away with it in the second half. Of course, Artyom Morg, or really getting into the groove now, and taking over the goalkeeping responsibilities from Sam Tompkins.
Yeah, so unless Sam Tompkins is carrying a bit of a niggling injury.
Could be. Who knows?
Artyom Morg took over, although... Unless they're thinking long run, like once Sam Tompkins retires, which won't be anytime soon, they've got someone there ready to go.
We'll see. He's definitely a good fullback option they have at the moment. And Benjamin Garcia, another good captain's knock from him. 90 run meters, 6 tackle breaks, a line break, and an offload.
Very good there from the captain. That's what you want from a captain. Someone that leads the way and somewhat control the team.
Just letting his presence felt in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at right here.
Yeah. And finally, Toulouse. We haven't really spoken about their.
We spoke about their loss to Huddersfield. We haven't spoken much about their win against Wakefield Trinity.
Finally, two wins.
But still anchored to the bottom of the table.
Yeah, but still 2 wins. That's this one could have gone all the way against Wakefield.
It's still always the interesting thing with Toulouse that despite the fact that they are last on the table with a 2-11 record, they're still not the worst attacking side.
Yeah.
They have scored 202 points compared to Wakefield's 198 and Leeds 193. For and against still hurts them, but if they can get some wins in these next couple of weeks, especially if Wakefield really it's only Wakefield that's in the firing line at the moment.
Yeah. So that's what I said. Toulouse have scored in pretty much all the matches so far this season, whether it's 6 or 2s or 4s. I think they've scored more points in the double figures than what they have in the single figures this year, Toulouse. So they've got the points in them. They just need to play the full 80 minutes and convert those points into wins.
Is there really anyone that can challenge the St. Helens juggernaut looking at the other end of the table?
Well, Toulouse did. But they beat them earlier on in the year.
They have only lost twice. They've got the third best defence in the league. Actually, no, Wigan's got the best defence in the league.
Yep.
No, I'm only looking at differential. Oh, my bad. Nope, still St. Helens with the best defence in the league. Only 126 points conceded.
That's not bad.
And they're the second best attacking side.
With the best attacking
Wigan
side.
Warriors ahead of them.
Yeah.
But really, they could go through for a 4th straight grand final appearance.
They're right there going. They're just in a league of their own, St. Helens.
They lost Lewis Dodd. Johnny Lomax has had to step up, of course. Lomax has been widely regarded as the dominant playmaker at Saints.
And he did reach a milestone match against Hull FC. I think I don't know what sort of milestone, but I can't remember what milestone. But he and Makinson got a milestone in the match against Hull FC.
I see no path where St. Helens lose. I think they could be back at Old Trafford again. I know I picked Warrington, but you see them at the moment, and you just think they're going to be on the road to Old Trafford again.
I can't remember what grand final prediction was. I think I said St. Helens in there. I can't remember up against who though. I don't know.
I think I called mine as a Warrington Catalan grand final. Catalan will more than likely be challenging for that top 2 place.
Warrington, on the other hand, these would need to turn around very, very quickly.
1 win in the last 5, currently on a 3-game losing run, and this is what they can look forward to in the weeks ahead of the Betfred Super League competition once the Challenge Cup Finals out of the way. They'll have the Leeds Rhinos at home, Wakefield away, Hull FC at home, Salford at home, and then Catalan for the Magic Weekend.
So they could beat Leeds. That's 50-50. Wakefield should be an easy victory.
Should be, but never take it for granted.
No. Salford and all the other ones could go either way as well.
It will be a very big Magic Weekend test for the Warrington Wolves, that's for sure.
Well, besides Catalan's match, that should go Catalan's way. Was it Hull FC?
Yep.
They've been playing. I think they will down Warrington, but you never know. Miracles do happen in rugby league.
They certainly do, so we'll just have to see how that one pans out. But apart from that, it is now full time from us. If you like this installment or the NRL installment from yesterday, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, click that bell for notifications so you never miss a week of rugby league. Don't forget to give us a follow on our social media pages on Facebook and on Instagram. It is Sideline Chat, and on Twitter it is Sideline Chat RL. Hope you enjoy the Betfred Challenge Cup Final. Will it be Huddersfield or Wigan lifting the trophy once more?
Huddersfield.
Yeah, all right. Fine. I was leaving that for the audience, but you answered on their behalf. Good
no,
on you.
I'm just answering on my behalf, which I already said in a tip.
Full confidence. You still have my full confidence at the moment. And
hey.
Right. But apart from that, it is now time to end. Along with Mark Hendry, I am Connor Marcellus, and you have been listening to the Sideline Chat podcast. We'll see you next week.
See you next week, folks.